This is the new Mini Aceman, an EV-only subcompact SUV that essentially fulfills the role a four-door electric coupe would play in Mini's transitional lineup. The Cooper SE, an electric hatchback, is two-door only currently. The Aceman was previewed by an Angular for a Mini, futuristic-looking concept in July of last year, taking the place of the now-departed Clubman in the lineup between the Cooper and the larger Countryman. It also represents an SUV-ifying of the Mini lineup, replacing a four-door hatch/wagon with a four-door crossover. It's also a uniquely Mini version of an electric vehicle, for better or worse. Let's start with the good, the design. It's handsome, it's interesting, and it's a bit different from both the Cooper, with its rounder headlights, and the Countryman, with its wider, stouter look. The Aceman manages to look sporty and car-like without losing its ability to telegraph that it's an SUV. The basic ideas telegraphed by the concept are all present, but massaged slightly for production. Even so, it's a clean design, particularly out back, where a restrained use of elements and interestingly proportioned and angled taillights do a lot to make a relatively simple rear end pop. The same could be said for the front fascia, which is essentially a few simple shapes that are transected by the grille trim and a thin gloss black mustache in the handsome SE trim. Less is more in terms of design, and it seems like Mini has taken this to heart in a way that might benefit its BMW sister brand. Inside, the Aceman makes good use of textiles, textures, and accent colors in a way that looks both upscale and also much less busy than Minis have traditionally been. The large, dominating center display, as large as a pie pan at more than 9 inches across, combines driving information and infotainment functions in a clever and clean way. Some hard buttons underneath control drive modes, experiences, radio volume/power/track, and so forth. It's a nice implementation overall and closely tracks what we see on the 2025 Mini Cooper SE. Note that the Aceman is also getting a BMW-like voice assistant, which is activated with the Hey Mini prompt, a first for the brand. What motivates the Aceman? Mini is following a powertrain formula that also tracks the Cooper SE, and it may make it a tougher sell for range-obsessed Americans. The Cooper SE makes do with one of two relatively small battery options, 40.7 or 54.2 kilowatt-hours packs, with 75 to 95 kilowatts maximum charge rates. While that'll provide 10 to 80% in 30 minutes in optimal conditions, range on the generous European test cycle is only 190 miles maximum. The Aceman gets similarly sized packs, 42.5 and 54.2, and a claimed WLTP range of 252 miles. Max recharging speeds are 75 kilowatts and 95 kilowatts, respectively. That puts the Aceman at very roughly, 220 miles on a more realistic EPA cycle. The larger 2025 Mini Countryman SE gets 220 miles of range from its 66.45 kilowatt-hour pack, so this estimate tracks. The Aceman features all-wheel drive as standard, and the lower-spec Aceman E with the 42.5 kilowatt-hour pack has a total system output of 184 horsepower and 214 lb-ft. The more powerful Aceman SE, with its 54.2 kilowatt-hour pack, makes 218 horsepower and 243 lb-ft, and seems like the more likely option for American consumption, if Mini indeed sends the Aceman our way. The Aceman E can hit 62 miles per hour in 7.9 seconds, while the SE can do the same in 7.1. The Aceman will be offered with a range of wheels from 17 to 19 inches. The interior seems well packaged, but cargo space with the seats up is, well, mini. Just 10.5 cubic feet of room are available for stowage, although fold the seats down and that increases to 35. There is seating for 5, but we'll need to crawl around inside before we can report on how realistic that center seat is for anything other than stowing a laptop bag. As you might expect, there's no real cow leather inside. Instead, seating options include textiles and what Mini calls Vesin, a synthetic leather that is made from recycled material and that Mini says is itself recyclable. It's a version of what BMW calls Sensation. There will be a JCW trim, but it's unclear as of yet how that will differ. Recall that on the 2025 Mini Cooper SE John Cooper Works, this trim does not increase performance, a drastic departure from JCW models of the past. Instead, it looks sportier and perhaps gets some aero add-ons. We expect something similar from the new Aceman, but perhaps Mini will rectify this confusing reimagining of what JCW means to Mini enthusiasts and do something like a JCW line trim to indicate it's an appearance, not a performance variant.